Hi, it's Larry here of Xbox's Major Nelson. Welcome to the Xbox Podcast. We are back. We've got Gamescom stuff to talk about. We've got controllers to talk about. We've got everybody else. Hi, Jeff. Hi, Rebecca. What?
Larry.
Hey, Larry.
Go back to that shot. You're not good at this at the Phil Spencer game. What's that in your? What's that in the cabinet?
Oh, that?
What is it? And how do you have it?
Well, let's. Are we going to talk about that right now, or do you want to? Should we leave that as the now exposed Easter egg for the rest of the show?
We'll leave it there for now. Look, it's your show. You figure it out. You got to hide this stuff better. I'm distracted.
Do you see that? See, it's very colorful, isn't it, Rebecca? It's very colorful.
I thought it was desserts or something. Candles? I can't tell.
Yeah,
I need to get my eyesight checked.
Those are my new gaming candle line that I'm coming out with.
Larry's got a lot of candles in his house. This is a whole thing.
Oh, don't even get me started on that. It's anyway, good to see everybody. Rebecca, how are things in New York? I know you guys had a hurricane hit last week, and is that your first hurricane you've ever had?
First hurricane, second round of water damage in the apartment, but it's all good. We're fine.
Sorry.
This is just New York, I've been told.
It's just the way it is.
Good excuse to stay in, watch some Battlestar Galactica again. It's all good.
Well, welcome, Jeff. Good to see you. How you doing?
I feel bad. Like, I had my hurricane phase in the 90s, Hurricane Andrew and Aaron and a bunch of Floyd. Are you all right? Things okay over there?
That's not me. I think that's her.
Okay, that's just New York being New York, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's back to being very, very hot outside. Don't worry.
Goodness. Anyway, so hey, we should talk about. We got a lot of games. Gamescom was earlier this week. Our Gamescom stream, hosted by our good friends Paris and Kate, and we've got a bunch of stuff we talked about in that stream. We're going to cover it more in the news. We had some controller stuff to talk about. We've got, and then the next.
There's a Halo date, Larry. Let's not bury the lead here.
Well, I didn't want to take away your thunder.
It was announced. People are talking about it. Oh, by the way, a little nugget here from the news desk. No, it's Halo. We know when it's coming out.
We'll talk about that. Well, if you don't know already, stay tuned. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But we want to talk about what we're playing, and this is actually a big moment for us, isn't it, Jeff and Rebecca? We all played together finally. Jeff and I played together a lot. Rebecca, you and I think played together maybe once, but we were finally all together at the same place in the same time. So that was exciting.
I mean, kind of the same time. Jeff was pretty late, but who's counting?
Ouch.
It's like 5 minutes late. But I was the medic. I kept you all alive. What did we play, Larry? Let's get to that part.
We played Aliens Fireteam, which we've got an interview. We'll talk about that in just a minute later on. But Aliens Fireteam is out this week, and it was kind of the perfect game for us because it's 3 players. You know, it's 3-player co-op. Yeah. And if you don't have 3 players, the AI will fill in the other 2 if it's just yourself, or 1 if it's just somebody else. But now we talked about being fans of the Aliens franchise. I know, Rebecca, you said you're a little bit of a fan.
Yeah, a little bit. I made my character. I tried to model her after Sigourney Weaver in Aliens 3. And I actually dreamt about, after we played, I actually had a nightmare with the xenomorphs in it, crawling all over. So, I enjoyed the game. I'd play it again, but maybe not so late at night for me.
Yeah, we did play a little bit on the late side for you. Well, Jeff said you would be fine because you said he thought you were going out to rip it up afterwards. So apparently that wasn't the case.
Look, people on the East Coast and the West Coast go to bed at the same time. It's just that the East Coast is 3 hours later. That was a huge shock to me, true. Moving to the West Coast. It's true. Everyone lives on, I don't know. It's just weird. We all go to bed very early here.
Anyway, so we played some Aliens. Did you have a good time with that, Jeff?
I did. Once because I was late, I had to just jam through, skip all the tutorials. Got a couple achievements for customizing your character. Make sure you do that. You put a little stripe on your controller, boom, 15 gamer score.
Yep. Hold on.
Pro tip. Whoa, what are we doing there? I was like, you have a cricket, a live cricket?
Don't worry about it. I was going to pop this over.
Well, the game was fun. It's what's cool about the xenomorphs is that they're not just necessarily on the ground. They're on the walls. They're on the ceiling.
They're in the ducts. They're everywhere, man. They're everywhere.
They are. It's like
to quote
a palmetto getting into the house in Florida. It could be on any surface. But the little ones were almost cute. Like I would argue that they were less frightening than like anything Boston Scientific has made.
What are you talking about?
The little ones, like the big ones were like horrifying and frightening. The little ones look like they're kind of like almost like puppy. They would like sometimes when you would kill them, they would like sort of go into almost like a sitting position. You just want to like pat it on the head. That's true. Better. That's better. Right. You know, we should have maybe started with positive reinforcement instead of just shooting immediately. We assumed they were up to
bone or something.
We were shooting first, asking questions later. So, but it was a lot of fun. But it was, and I guess now, Rebecca, you actually recorded a moment in the game which kind of sums up our play style, doesn't it?
Yep, basically. Except I wish that Jeff wouldn't have gone down first.
Well, he was
always protect the medic
because you were the medic.
It was. Let me see if I can bring this up here because it was. Do this and then I'll do this. Should we roll the clip here, as we say in the business?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, let's do it. And thank goodness there's no party chat audio over it.
So here you can see Rebecca runs. This is her character. This is her POV, and she goes around the corner. And just as she comes around the corner here, and that's when kind of things go sideways.
Yeah, the big ones.
Yeah, Jeff goes down.
Yeah, and then I believe I went down. Yeah, I go down next, and then she just comes in and just eats our lunch.
Yeah, I got pinned.
So you can see the little cute one right there, Jeff. See him?
Little one, adorable. He said, "You all right? You all right, Matt?" Yeah,
little cute one.
But
it was licking our face to wake us up.
There's a couple things in there that so there it was pretty frenetic, and that I believe because we were joining your game, Rebecca. That was like default, right? That was just the standard default level. That wasn't like super hard or super easy.
Yeah, that was the standard difficulty. I actually tried going through it on my own before you guys joined. I got like a good part of the way through, but I did find it kind of challenging. Like when I play, I tend to shoot, and then as soon as I start to take damage, I run away, which is what I was doing there. But it's a little bit harder when you have a squad and you have to come back and everyone's dependent on each other. But overall, playing in
attacked,
like a 3-person,
and then turns around and runs away.
Well, here's the thing about this game:
I'm gonna reload and run.
Yeah. Well, you will think you cleared an area, and you'll start focusing in front of you, and then they'll start coming out from behind you, and so that was like a consistent source of like terror and getting knocked. But the part you don't hear because the chat wasn't there is I went down because the big one aggroed on me, and then Larry's like, "I got you. You're all set." Boom. Then Larry's down, and then it all.
And I'm like, I'm coming. And
well,
no.
the funny thing is, and I want to go to this because I still shotted it here, is this particular point in the game, we have to get onto an elevator. And if you look at the top center of the screen right above her, we have 11 seconds left. So 11 seconds.
We were just fighting.
We have 10, and then
it was out of like 200 and something. We had held off quite a while. Yeah.
So we did okay. I mean, we all did okay, but this is it was definitely a fun game. And I don't know about you, but it felt like the Aliens universe. The pulse rifle it had that sound. What did you guys think of it?
Yeah, I noticed that if I like ran into some acid afterward, it actually took away my health. Or like if you get sprayed by acid from one of the different like xenomorphs or aliens, then yeah, it actually does like affect you. So I thought it was pretty cool.
By the way, here's a shot. You can't really tell because we can't spin the camera around, but that you can see this is Rebecca's character on the left there, kind of rocking her Aliens 3 Ripley. So it's a nice job on that, by the way. So.
Thank you.
So yeah, we played a little bit of that. We should play some more. Do you want to play a little bit more? Because we didn't get that far in the game, did we?
We did not.
We didn't. It's a little embarrassing.
Yeah, it was our first go, and we were coming to grips with the way like the healing works. Like I can only use it so much, and I think could have been more efficient. I think in that. So I think it was the last checkpoint there.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that for a 3-person co-op, it felt really good. Like I had the gunner loadout. Larry, you were the demolisher, right? The kind of heavier one, and then with Jeff as the medic, like it felt like a really good setup. So I would definitely recommend folks give it a try. But I don't know, maybe we should stop talking about it. Larry, you actually met with Craig Zinkovich this week, right?
I sure did. It was great. We talked about that. We talked about the different characters you'll see in the game and kind of their approach to making Aliens, because this is very different from any of the other Alien games that we've played in the past. So let's take a listen. Anybody that listens to this podcast knows that I am a big Aliens fan. Love the universe. I'm really excited about Aliens Fireteam Elite coming out. It's now out this week. Craig Zinkovic from the studios here. Craig, great to see you.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Thank you so much.
This is exciting. I mean, you and I were talking off the air about how much I love Alien. I love the movies. I mean, that's the funny stories. That was one of the first Alien is one of the first R-rated movies I ever saw. And, and then, of course, the second one, I was like, how are they going to make this movie better? And you're like, when Aliens came out. And then, of course, the trilogy has gone on. But you guys have created something really interesting here, because this is in the Alien set. Tell us about where it's set in the timeline of the movies and some of the games that we know.
Oh, sure. So Aliens Fireteam Elite takes place, a few decades past Aliens and Alien 3. It takes place in 2202. So, a little bit after the movies. Gives us a little bit of time to advance the storyline, add a little bit of new technology, but also close enough to have that core, marine feel from the movies.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I want to play. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play your launch trailer here, and this is really interesting because this kind of gives you an idea, and you don't have to talk through we're seeing here. But this,
oh sure,
you're playing with you plus two other folks, whether they're humans or friends or they're AI, but you're going through and exploring and coming across, I got to tell you, a lot of aliens. I mean, there's a lot going on here. So tell us about the gameplay and tell us what we can expect. I mean, we see some of it here, but tell us some of the intricacies of what you guys have done there.
Sure. So, I mean, you being a fan of the franchise, you know that the movies kind of span almost different genres, right?
Yeah.
The first movie, Alien, is really a hardcore, horror movie, right?
Suspense, yeah.
Ripley against a single xenomorph. The second movie, Aliens, is almost an action film. It's kind of that over-the-top action, a whole bunch of xenomorphs, that sort of threat. That Cameron-esque fantasy is unabashedly what Cold Iron Studios wants to do with Alien Fireteam Elite, is to provide that feeling of you and a bunch of ultimate badasses going up against tons of xenomorphs.
And let's be clear, these are not just, we saw a little bit there, maybe, but they're not just, your standard soldiers. You've got different levels. I mean, I came across one that pinned me down and was having its way in my face. I'll tell you, it was tough.
Sure, totally. We've taken from all over the extended universe. Everybody here at Cold Iron is huge fans of the franchise, not just the movies, but the novels, the comics, everything like that. And we've, got to open up all of that stuff and look deep for inspiration as to how we can make enemies that really make the gameplay really deep and really repeatable. So we got to take a few things that already existed in the universe and then put our spin on a few of the other ones, and that was such a huge honor.
Now you've got certainly, obviously, if not an aliens game unless you're hunting aliens, but there's a lot going on here. You've got a lot of weapons that we may know. That first level, and I don't want to give too much of a spoiler, but my default weapon was the pulse rifle, and when you fire it, I was like, oh yeah, this is it. I felt like I was in the universe. But tell us about some of the enemy types and the different xenomorphs we're going to come again. Of course, some of the weapons as well.
Sure. I think that, we're huge fans of the survival shooter genre, right? The co-op survival shooter genre. And we wanted to make sure that we were also taking it and adding things to it and kind of trying to move that along from, its Left 4 Dead roots a bit. And a big part of that for us, the games that a bunch of us at Cold Iron have worked on in the past are RPGs with different sorts of gameplay. And so in Aliens Fireteam Elite, you don't play set characters. You actually create your Marine, and you get to customize them. You get to choose what kit they're using on a certain mission. You get to level up the character. You get to level up the kit. And there are dozens and dozens of different weapons within the game that you can kind of collect and customize with attachments and scopes and muzzles and of course decals and stickers and stuff to put on your gun like any good Colonial Marine would. So I think that there's a lot of RPG aspects to the game that really kind of add to the replayability, let you kind of level up and take that harder challenge, go after that harder difficulty mode where, there's friendly fire and stuff like that too. So lots of different stuff to kind of collect and customize within the game.
I'd like to talk a little bit about the universe. You know, you're playing in a sandbox that was created 30 years ago in some regards, right?
Okay.
What was it like going in and researching the history of the franchise and things that you said, oh, this is really interesting, and kind of double clicking and bringing that to life for gamers?
Sure. I mean, it's an honor, right? When we first started talking with 21st Century, we were working on we're working in kind of little startup, little indie project, and they saw what we were doing and were really excited and said, "Hey, we got this aliens thing. What do you guys think you could do with that?" And we just jumped at it. We're just so excited to be able to work on such a storied franchise, and really the franchise team at 21st Century at the time just open their doors to us. Let us look at everything. Let us discuss ideas that we had. I think that the bonus that we had is that it wasn't really a research project as much as oh my God, we just get to pour out all our fandom that we already have.
Right.
Everybody brought their comics into work. Everybody brought the novels in and started discussing and having reading groups. So it really was a whole lot of fun to dig deep and then try to put all of that as much as possible in the game. It's got that core Aliens experience that people know from the movie. But if you're a super fan of the franchise, there's tons of lore. There's tons of little nods to things within the extended universe that you'll find. So we're pretty excited that we did some pretty good fan service and a love letter to the franchise here.
Well, I must tell you, as somebody who is a fan, and I was going through, and I again, I don't want to say too much, but there's references even in your basically your main base that you're walking around and interacting with some of the NPCs. That are like, I can kind of hear the callbacks to the different times. So that was a lot of fun. I mean, it's great to be able to play in the universe, but it's even better when you get to do it with your friends. So that's really great. Tell us a little bit about the co-op experience and how you balance that and make that really shine.
Oh, sure. So I was talking about the two different kind of fantasies in the Alien universe, that one-on-one fantasy. And, Alien Isolation did a fantastic job of bringing that to video games. We really wanted that co-op Colonial Marines, tons of xenomorphs. And a big part of that is making sure that the co-op experience is like deep and engaging. And for us, in order to make a co-op game, great, you have to make sure that your characters have roles, combat roles, and you get those through our class kits within the game. So, there are 5 different class kits available at launch. And you can swap freely in between them whenever you team up, depending on the mission you're going on, the enemies that you're fighting, your squad's makeup. Like you mentioned earlier, it's 3-player co-op. If you have team members, cool, you can just jump in like that.
Right.
There is public matchmaking, and if you want to play solo or just duo, we do have bots that go in there with you.
Yeah, I mean that's what I loved about it is I just when I got early access to the game last week, you kind of let me in. I was like, I never play with yet because my friends weren't ready, and I just started playing with it. I got so immersed in it and was just having so much fun and healing. They were raising me, and I did get downed a few times, but it was really great to be able to do that. And I can't wait, and I've done it already. It's great to be able to strategize with your friends at that point because the AI is great, but being able to tell your friends, okay, you get that door, I'll take this one, you get this one, because I don't want to do too many spoilers, but there are parts where they start pouring in hot and heavy, and it is pretty brutal, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, and the big thing is there are a lot of different difficulty levels within the game. Yeah. The AI bots are great on casual, pretty good on standard, but once you go intense, extreme, and insane, you're going to want a pretty tight-knit group of humans working together to get through those missions.
Tell us a little bit about, there's like a horde mode in there as well, right?
Sure. It's one of the things that we put into the day one patch, already adding things there. So there's a horde mode that we ended up adding that you can go in with friends and kind of see how many waves you can go through and get custom special rewards that exist only within that gameplay. We also did a bunch of other stuff within the day one also. Obviously, you do your bug fixing, but there's a lot of performance increases in there as well. So pretty excited about making sure that, we continue to add to the game after the fact.
And you've also got this concept of you're doing a season thing as well. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So we do have regular updates that we plan on releasing with the game on a regular cadence, and these are free. We plan on releasing free gameplay, free new game modes, stuff like that on a regular basis after launch. Our first one, season one Phalanx, comes out just in a couple weeks now. And it has a brand new class for everybody, a bunch of new weapons, a lot of cosmetics and rewards throughout the game. And all of that is free with the base game. If you want to buy the deluxe edition, each season also comes with a big, huge pack of cool, exclusive cosmetic items that come out for the deluxe customers.
Well, that's what you should be doing. Fireteam's Aliens Fireteam Elite. It's available now. It's a co-op third-person shooter from our good friends at Cold Iron Studios. It's available on Steam, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S. And I can tell you, it looks amazing. I tell you what's really interesting though about this, Craig, is you got a price point of $39.99. That's interesting.
Yes.
So that's like old school.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, we can go into it and how interesting the price market is right now. But
sure.
I think that it's short-sighted just to go, okay, cool, it's a $69.99 game, right? It's a AAA game coming out. I think there's a huge range of possible price points. Cold Iron's a pretty small studio. There are only like 45 of us here, and we kind of got to go, what do we want to pay for this? What is the slam dunk? And I mean, it's an Aliens game at $39.99. Let's do it.
Let's do it. There you go. I appreciate that. Available now, Aliens Fireteam Elite. Craig, thank you so much, and congratulations to you and everybody at the studio for shipping the game.
Thank you so much. Really, really enjoyed being here.
All right. Thanks, Larry, for your expert interviewing prowess. Always, you're very good at this, Larry. Thanks. And thanks to the guests, of course, for joining us. Larry, you didn't ask the one thing I wanted you to ask. At one point, we were playing the game, and there was the heat of the battle. I feel like they were talking about Dr. Hanukkah, and I wanted to know more about Dr. Hanukkah. So we need to go back and play some more for Aliens Fireteam, just to uncover that.
I have Craig's contact information. I can connect you guys so you can talk about that.
Maybe that should just be an email. Then we'll figure that out. You know what I got to play this week?
What?
And I don't know if you all have gotten to play yet because it's out now. Psychonauts 2.
Yeah, here's my controller.
Oh, Larry, what do you have? You have the Psychonauts?
I have it downloaded.
No, I was gonna bring it up on my console because I've got it loaded up, and it's if you haven't. First of all, by the way, I've got the gloves ready for just a moment, so stand by. It's really important that people know that Psychonauts 2. I mean, it's been many, 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 many years in the making, and it is getting really good reviews,
16.
Right, Jeff?
Yeah, it's fantastic. And here's the thing I would say: let's say you didn't play the first Psychonauts. I didn't. I went back and I was like, why didn't I play that? And it came out 1 week after Jade Empire, and Xbox Game Pass did not exist in the year 2005. And so I made my choice. Jade Empire was great, all timer. So I don't regret that, but it means I didn't get to play Psychonauts 1. And it is available now on Game Pass, and you can play it. And it actually up-reses the non-CG parts up-res from OG Xbox all the way to Series X and S, which is kind of crazy. Yep. But I didn't have a chance this summer to dive into it. That's okay. There's a great video or sort of like a, previously on Psychonauts situation. And while there's callbacks to certain characters, don't worry about it. Just play it. Just have fun. And it's amazing. And when you get further into the game, like the visuals, like at first it's like, oh, it's like a cartoony type of game. But then they get like some of the most spectacular sort of technical, production of this type of art style. And if you've gotten to the music festival, you will know what I'm talking about. It is just, it is stunning. Right. There's a music festival level. Okay, it's fine. It's stunning. It's really good. And obviously the music design's phenomenal. We saw some of this, I think, in a trailer. Was it last year at this point? So, yeah. I can't remember. But I've just been blown away by it. It's funny. It's heartfelt. It's really cool. And it's a lot of fun. So, and it's available now.
On Game Pass.
Of course.
So you'll have to check that out, Rebecca. Did you finish the first one?
No, I didn't. So I've been excited to try the second one. So it's on my list for this weekend.
Well, there you go. There's your weekend. You can do that. You can stay inside, and hopefully it won't rain or anything there in New York. It's Anyway. All right, Jeff. If I go full screen here on you, what's that over your right shoulder? It's Gamescom 2021. Look at that.
I always use the wrong hand.
Right shoulder.
Yeah.
Your right shoulder. Sorry.
Thank you. So we had our live stream, and then the next day, opening night live, and so there was a lot of news. And of course, where do you start with? You start with Halo Infinite. It now has a release date. And Rebecca, you've got a bunch more.
Yeah, so Halo Infinite finally has a release date. Drumroll, December 8th. Yeah, so just in time for the holidays. We also announced the limited edition Xbox Series X that will be launching with Halo Infinite. It's pretty cool. It's got some Cortana-looking graphics all over it. Also, just a lot of other kind of limited edition stuff. We have the Razer Kyra Pro for Xbox. I don't know if I'm saying that right. It's the headset. And then also Seagate Drive and a new Elite Series 2 that's all decked out like Master Chief. So, I see what you did.
Of course, you have it. That comes out in November. It is August, and somehow go on.
Ooh.
Look at that.
Look at those dehydrating crystals that you had, Larry.
Let's.
You always get the cool stuff.
We got to go full screen on me. Here it is. Take a look at this. Look at this. Open it up, Jeff. Take a look at that, Rebecca and Jeff. Isn't that beautiful?
Oh my God! Look at those. Does it have 24th century desiccants in there, Larry? You. This is clearly a first unboxing because you left it in the top lid.
Oh, you're talking about this little thing right here, yeah? That little.
That'll dry things out in ways that our current technology just can't handle.
This is from our Forerunner friends. So that's the most important part.
See?
From the future. Yeah. Nice. But anyway, I love the gold for the D-pad.
Yeah, the gold and the D-pad's really nice. And then you can also obviously you can put the cross D-pad or the kind of the dish one, whichever one, kind of swap them back and forth. So that's kind of cool as well. And then I believe there's also a little let me take a look at this. Yeah, there's a little something on the little tool that does the tension control that you have on the that it comes with. So it's a little message in there. Anyway,
for the sticks.
Yeah, for the
no details spared. Yeah,
nothing at all. So check that out. Go to news.xbox.com. There's a blog post up on that, right, Jeff? Right, Rebecca?
Yes, sir. And it is. You'll be able to get ready for this one ahead of the release. It's out November 15th, along with the console. Do you have the console back there too?
I don't have the. Look. I do not have the console. I just have my standard console back there. So I don't have the console yet, but I'm working on getting one.
So the console comes with a special controller as well. So the console has a matching controller that comes with it. It doesn't come with the Elite. So you've got, So you've got, it looks amazing. And it is, sort of the modern, the Xbox wireless controller. Whereas the Elite is built on the Elite Series 2 platform. And, is it grippy? Is it grippy on the handles? Because it looks like it would be. I know you had the gloves on. We don't want to sell the gloves.
Yeah, of course it's grippy.
Yeah, it looks. It looked grippy.
That's the engineering term that they use. Grippy. Please make it grippy.
This is why. This is the best word I have to use. Is grippy.
We have more hardware to announce. Should we talk about that, Jeff, as well? You got the news in front of you. I don't know if you have it or Rebecca has it.
Sure. Yeah. Do you want to go, Rebecca?
No, you go for it.
Okay, sure. Look, we're very polite here on the show. So with the stream, obviously the Halo announcement happened on Wednesday. We had a live stream on Tuesday. Paris Lilly, Kate Yeager, they did a great job. Paris, I want his jacket. It's on sale, by the way. So if you like Paris's jacket, so a lot of people talking about it, go to gear.xbox.com and it's called the Chromatic VW Windbreaker. I don't think VW must stand for something, and that isn't Volkswagen, but it is currently on sale, as are a number of the other gear on the Xbox Gear Shop. It's 40% off, so $47.99. You too can look like Paris, but you won't have his dulcet tones, his voice. I love Paris' voice. So anyway, among the many updates that we gave, we showed the first 8 minutes, the start of Forza Horizon 5. And these games always begin, you remember all the way back to Forza Horizon 2, but just sort of like this amazing sort of multimodal sort of race that begins at the beginning, and you try a number of the different vehicles, and you get all these and you see the different biomes and stuff like that. And this is the biggest one ever. These cars are being dropped out of this plane. Can't wait to play it, because you do get to play that part. That was game footage, which is awesome. But we also got to see the cover cars, and so one of them, and they couldn't be more different. So you had the one that tore across the finish line at the end was the the Mercedes AMG 1, which was that red car that was going over 200 miles an hour. And at the beginning, the first one that you saw was the 2021 Ford Bronco Badlands,
which I've driven.
That's right. You were talking about it, Larry.
Yeah,
really?
I'll post some photos on Instagram. You can check it out. But that is a fun. I mean, nothing against a Mercedes. I'm sure it's fun. But this Bronco with the doors off and the top off, there's nothing like it. I'll say that.
Seems like it's going to be like a good, vehicle to tear across Mexico in. You know, the rugged parts.
Respectfully tear across Mexico.
Leave no trace. Yes. Leave no trace, Larry. So we also got updates on Age of Empires 4. We got to see the hands-on history feature that is going to be part of that, and where you get to sort of learn where these things, like how the game is steeped in history and the real-life elements. Oh, yes. Larry, You've got the controller. There was a Forza wireless controller, and I think, based on what I saw, there's a video. It looks like the best one we've ever made.
Yeah, I'll go full screen so you guys can see this whole thing, because it is. I have to tell you, this is one beautiful controller. I mean, look at that.
I love the asymmetry on both the sticks, and I think on the triggers as well, right? Yeah.
Why, yes, Jeff.
Wow, it's see-through. That's amazing. Oh, yes. Yeah, you should describe it for us, Larry.
Yeah, I mean, it's, as Jeff said, this is inspired from, you know when you go to the festival and they have like all the stuff that shoots up in the air, the colors and the lights and everything. That's what it's inspired by. I mean, look at this. First of all, this has some grippy action, Jeff. You know what it feels like?
Perfect.
Look at that. It feels like a very
tire.
It actually feels more like the upholstery of a nice leather car upholstery. For one of
a Recaro seat.
Could be. It could be. But we've got. You're right. We've got some translucent going on here. You can kind of see what's. It's not really showing off.
That's awesome.
Very well here, but I mean, and this is. Jeff and I were talking in another meeting. Jeff, I think you said it best. This is one of the best looking controllers we've had, right?
Yeah, I said it was the best looking controller since this one, which is the Sea of Thieves controller, and which is beautiful. It glows in the dark. It has the texturing and things like that. I love the gold tooth trigger.
Yeah, always a classic.
I will hold on to this and embrace it until I get my beautiful Forza Horizon 5 controller.
So there you go.
Very jealous. Don't bring that around my house.
How much is that one, Larry? Do you know?
Jeff, do you have the copy in front of you, right? For how much it is? Because I just I don't actually. I
do. Just give me a second to bring that one up.
Yeah, this just feels good and looks good. I mean, God, you're right. Rebecca, you noticed the translucence right away, didn't you? You can see some of the wires and everything underneath. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, even from here, I can see it. It's very cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So let's take a look at that, and Jeff will give you some details on that one. So
yeah, pre-orders are live today
now,
and it is $74.99. So operators are standing by. You can go over to Xbox Wire, and it is available 11/9/2021.
Now, I will say this is, if you want this, if you have your eye on this, act now, because my understanding is actually sold out already in some places. So get them while they're getting good, gang. What else you got, Jeffrey? Right. Gamescom news?
Yeah. Well, let's talk about cloud gaming. So cloud gaming, currently, the way we've been enjoying the cloud is through tablets, phones, browsers on PC, but it's actually coming to the console, which is really cool. And what that means, it's like, well, why would I want cloud on the console? Well, a couple different interesting use cases. One is if there's a Game Pass game that you want to try, and let's say it's, I don't know, like 50 gigs, and you don't want to wait to download it to try it out, you'll be able to just run it right then through the cloud. Do you like it? And if you're like, oh, I want to commit and I want to download this game, you'll have gotten to try it, and that progress will then carry over, and you'll be just playing through the cloud, which is really cool. It is really a play it now
Have you
feature.
tried it out yet, Jeff?
I've played on my PC. I've played on my phone. I've played on my iPad. I have not gotten to play on the console yet.
I have played on the console. I was testing it, and it's really cool. You just kind of go into the Game Pass app, and you can kind of go up and down, and because it's part of the game. It's part of Game Pass, and you'll see a little cloud icon. You probably saw some of the videos, and you just start playing. I mean, it's as simple as that. Let's not overcomplicate it. You want to play the game? We're going to let you play the game. So that's the way it goes.
No more waiting 6 hours for it to install.
Right.
So the other thing I think is really cool that the cloud sort of enables is, while the majority of the games that have come out on the Xbox platform in the last 8 months or so since the Series X and S launched are cross-generation games, but there are games like The Medium or Microsoft Flight Simulator, which are next-gen only. They need that horsepower of the Series X and Series S. But the cloud, now that those devices are sort of in the cloud, people that have an Xbox One in the future will be able to use this feature to be able to play some of those next-gen games. If you're an Xbox One owner, you've got Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, and you want to try those out, you'll be able to do so via the cloud on your console, which is just really cool.
Your head will explode when you start thinking about it. It's like, wait a minute, I'm playing on a older generation console, but I'm playing newer generation games on a newer generation console that's nowhere near my house. Okay, there you go. But it works.
It works. That's the key thing.
It works.
Is we have top people on it. Yes.
Top folks. Jeff and I have, and Rebecca, have you been playing any games on xCloud? I know you don't probably have a lot of time there in the city.
No, I haven't tried it out yet, but I've heard really good things.
Yeah. I know we talked about especially the touch controls. I know we talked about Minecraft Dungeons on previous shows. What a great job the team you work with over there has done. So that's really cool, and we're looking forward that people get that in their hands. Does it say when that's coming, Jeff? It's probably coming later this year, right?
Yeah, we didn't give an exact date, so obviously stay tuned to Xbox Wire, Major Nelson, your Twitter and your social accounts.
Yeah, we'll let you
and
know.
You'll be talking about all of that stuff. And then there was just a series of updates. So we talked about Trumbull Valley, which is the original State of Decay map, coming to State of Decay 2 as part of this homecoming update that's available September 1st. If you've got Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, boom, you own it, or you will when it comes out. You'll be able to download it. I love that map. I've spent a lot of time in that map with State of Decay 1. Very cool that it's coming to State of Decay 2.
Yep.
And it's been redone and remastered, and there's new things that are happening because State of Decay 2 takes place years after the first one. So I think we'll see further decay in that state. And thank you. Wasteland 3, which I love that game. I spent a big chunk of my summer last year playing that. So there's one final mission coming called the Cult of the Holy Detonation. And we have a blog post on all of that stuff. And it'll be available as sort of it's a relatively inexpensive update, $6.99 for that. And you can save 10% off of that if you're a Game Pass member. Won't do the math on that, but it's like under $7. And then Crusader Kings 3. So this was one of the biggest games on PC, highly acclaimed last year. It was on Xbox Game Pass. Well, they're adapting it for console. And so it's a really cool strategic historical game. And they're redoing it so that it will work well with a controller on consoles. It's next gen only. Xbox Series X and S. And so it's going to be able to take advantage of things like the SSD for like instant loading, which is really cool, really cool feature. So we've got a whole blog post on that. And then just a couple of other sort of indie games that were announced, like Stray Blade, which is coming exclusively to Series X and S next year. Humble Games is bringing a bunch of indies day one to Xbox Game Pass. And we got to see The Gunk again. This was a game that we first showed off at E3, I want to say 2 years ago. It's the people that make the SteamWorld series, which is a really cool series on Switch. And there's a couple of them, I want to say on Windows 10 and on Xbox. This is their first 3D game. And as someone who loved Super Mario Sunshine, there's sort of like a cleaning element to this. And it looks really cool. And that game is coming in December. So there's stories for all of these things over on Xbox Wire. So make sure you check it out for full details. We're just giving you the quick and dirty version, but the creators of these games and these features, like in the case of Cloud, have written up beautiful blog posts and videos and everything else, and it's all in one place for you.
Yeah, we can talk your ears off here, but we'll let you go over there and you can read all about them and get all the details. So thanks for covering that up, Jeffrey. It's been a big week with lots of little things to talk about.
And some big things, right?
And some big things. Talked about controllers. We talked about some Halo, cloud gaming, aliens,
Forza.
Yeah. What a week! What a week! So, all right. Anything else we got to wrap up? Because I know we got to. So, just in full transparency, just so folks know, Jeff and I are in Seattle. We've talked about Rebecca being in New York, and it's a little bit warm in New York, and she shut her air conditioner off, so it's starting to get a little warm in that room, isn't it, Rebecca?
Can you tell? I was hoping it wasn't obvious.
I can tell.
It's very warm.
I can tell. So we should probably wrap up so you can go stand over there in front of the air conditioner and get your day on. So anything else you want to add?
How did you know what I was thinking?
I could tell. Well, it's funny every time. So whenever I did this, I can kind of see what everybody else is doing. And Rebecca, I kind of saw you in the corner of my eye in your screen, kind of like straightening your hair out and going, oh man, it's hot in here. So I was like fanning herself. So I was like, we need to end the show. So
all right. Well, the last thing I will leave people with, I would say go check out. I think that the video should be up on our like YouTube or Twitch channels, but I would check out the technical preview multiplayer for Halo Infinite. It looked really good. It was very fast, very smooth, maybe a little faster than I'm used to. But I would say like I'm excited for it. So I would tell people to go check that out.
Did they make the game faster or are your reflexes slower?
No, I checked. So I looked at the comments. Everyone else, when they got into closer combat.
Don't read the comments.
I know. But I saw that I thought that the guy who they were following, I was like, oh, he died really fast. I was like, that seems a lot faster than usual. And then other people in the comments are saying like, oh, the TTK, the time to kill, seems a little fast in Halo Infinite, but that's okay. Just gotta get ready.
Well, they're also, again, this is a beta and they're tweaking it. So they're going to be able to do, they're going to kind of tweak it.
It's not a beta, Larry.
Well, I'm sorry.
It's a technical preview.
Technical preview.
Pardon me. Thank you,
Come
Jeffrey.
on, man.
Always
when I'm here, I'm the complaint desk, and I will complain about you too.
No, actually, Jeff is more along the lines of standards and practices. He's the lawyer in the corner. You can't say that. No.
It's Psychonauts. I'm the censor, and I'm like going over, and so you have to like telekinesis things to hit me if you want me to shut up.
I don't know where my beep is.
Don't do that.
So.
What?
I didn't have my beep available. All I had was that. So I don't know.
Oh, boxing bell? You have like Michael Buffer's autograph on that?
There it is. Okay. Anyway, all right. Well, gang, we may be back next week. I don't know. We're working on some holidays stuff. We've got there's a holiday coming up in. Why are you looking at me like that, Jeff?
Oh, like Labor Day.
Labor Day, Jeff.
Yeah.
Okay. When you say holiday, I'm like,
plans.
what? What are you talking about?
Oh,
like, don't push Christmas on me yet. It's too soon. It's still August here, Larry.
Did you?
Pumpkin spice lattes are already in Starbucks. It's like, slow down. Let me enjoy the last dregs of summer.
Well, have you? I went into the local drugstore and there was the Halloween aisle was in full effect. It was all orange and black rolling. There were some scary things in that aisle. I'm not talking scary things like characters. Like they're doing a lot of weird things with some of the candies this year. That's all I'll say.
All right, we'll circle back on this in like 2 months.
Yeah.
I stopped and looked at that. So anyway,
you wouldn't believe the color these M&Ms are coming in these years. Back in my day, we just had brown.
I don't know what's going on. So Jeff, thank you for joining us again this week. Thanks for the update on Gamescom. Rebecca, thank you for joining us as well. And please stay cool there in New York City. I know it's a little warm. Okay, we're going to end now so you can go turn on your air conditioning. Bye-bye, everybody.